They want it to be rack mounted. It's the most efficient way to do it. That's how they do it now, and they want to see that from Apple. They want a lot of storage flexibility. Some customers need a little storage, some customers need a lot of storage, and they want the flexibility to design the storage that they need. They want serviceability. They know that these things need to be very reliable, but sometimes do need to be serviced, and they want great serviceability on this. And, of course, they have to be able to manage these things remotely. So they want great remote management. So I'm going to go through all these things and tell you what we've done with Xserve. To start with, Xserve is a dedicated server platform. So let me take you through the architecture. First, we start off with a 1 gigahertz G4 processor, which has 256K of internal level 2 cache running at the processor speed. This is a very, very fast chip, faster than most chips that ship in servers today. And to this, we add an external 2 megabyte cache, which is DDR SRAM. Very, very fast cache, 4 gigabyte per second throughput to the processor. So it's got a level 2 internal cache and a level 3 external cache. To that, we add a mirror, a second processor with its own cache. So we've got dual 1 gigahertz G4s, each with their own level 2 cache, each with a large level 3 cache. Okay. To that, we add a system controller. Now, this system controller is a custom ASIC that we've done, and it provides exceptional throughput, way more than most of the other stuff on the market. And it's got built in it gigabit Ethernet, and it's got FireWire, and as we'll see, a whole bunch of other things built right in it, in a single chip. Next, we add on to that up to 2 gigabytes of DDR SRAM. This is the first time DDR SDRAM, has been used in a 1U server that we know of. First time. 266 megahertz, double the rate of the memory in every other server that we've been able to find. It's also the first Apple DDR SDRAM system that we will have shipped. Then we add a PCI slot with a second gigabit Ethernet to it. So this server is going to come standard with 2 gigabit Ethernet ports. These are ports that are 10, 100, and gigabit Ethernet full auto detection. Next, we add an I/O channel out of the system controller, and we add quad ATA100 drives. These are all on independent controllers, all have independent channels in through the system controller. A CD-ROM, and 2 64-bit 66 megahertz PCI slots for expansion. We also have 3 FireWire ports, 2 USB ports, a serial console port, and all of those other kinds of things as well. Now, this is going to be the first mainstream server to use ATA drives. Most of the other ones use SCSI drives. We're going with ATA drives because it turns out they're just as fast as SCSI drives now, and they offer some real benefits in terms of larger capacities. This is the fastest Mac architecture we've ever built. Again, featuring dual gigahertz G4s, 266 megahertz DDR SDRAM, quad independent ATA drives, dual gigabit Ethernet ports, and 2 64-bit 66 megahertz PCI ports. So this is a dedicated server platform, fastest architecture we've ever built. Next, rack mounted. This is Xserve. This is what it looks like. Let me show you, actually. I've got one here. Got a few here, actually. This is Xserve. There's 5 of them, and here's one of them. This is the back of the product. This is the top. Let me slide it out. That's what it looks like. We've got our 4 ATA100 drives right there in the front. We've got our CD-ROM. We've got fans right here. Power supply. Dual G4 processors. 2 gigabytes of DDR SDRAM. And our 3 PCI slots. 1 for the second gigabit Ethernet and 2 for expansion. So that's what it looks like inside. Now, you can put these in a rack, of course. and you can just start stacking them up in a rack. And if you fill this rack, what you'll get is 84 processors, storage of up to 20 terabytes in a 42U rack. So, rack mounted, yes. Storage flexibility. We are shipping with 60 gigabyte and 120 gigabyte ATA 100 drives. Now, we support 4 drive bays, and so if you put 120 gigabytes in each of those, you get 480 gigabytes in a 1U rack mount server. So, up to 480 gigabytes online. With quad ATA 100 drives, that's 400 megabytes per second throughput off the drives, which is huge. It's also very important when you're doing file service, when you're doing QuickTime streaming, etc. Your disk bandwidth is very, very important. We've got striping and mirroring. We've got smart drive monitoring. We are actually monitoring these drives to look at their error rates, to look at all the statistics about the drive, so we can do predictive failure on them, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And we've got a CD-ROM built in for, of course, software install and restore. These drives are hot pluggable. We've designed a really nice carriage where you can unplug them. And so just, boom, 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 boom. Really easy. Take one out, that's it. Very simple. And they are hot pluggable. That's it. So, 480 gigabytes of storage, hot pluggable, 4 drives. I think we've delivered storage flexibility. Next, serviceability. You can service an Xserve in seconds. Of course, you can service the